Hey folks, you see them less and less, but there still are so-called bed-slinger or Cartesian style printers coming to the market. And there are reasons for that. On the one hand, they are more simply built, and that means they generally cost less. The open design also helps cool the printed part, which benefits filaments such as PLA and PETG and can lead to better print quality with these materials. The open design also allows to print flexible filaments like TPU more easily, which on most enclosed Core XY machines tend to be more problematic. So for the most commonly used filaments, this type of printer is therefore just as suitable or even better than enclosed Core XY printers? Well, of course there are both pros and cons, and today we are taking a look at this new Cartesian 3D printer, the Creality SprakX i7, to find out what this affordable and beginner-friendly 3D printer is capable of, and what a Cartesian 3D printer is like in 2026. This version supports 4-color printing, but the printer is also available as an autofill combo for only $229. This model with the CSF lightbox that Creality sent me costs $359. If you watch the video at a later date, they will probably be even lower, and you can check on the current price in the video description, where I put you links to everything shown in this video. Now let's take a quick look at the specs. The print bed measures 260 by 260 mm and is 255 mm in height, so it's medium-sized and suitable for the very most projects. The nozzle reaches 300 degrees Celsius and the print bed heats up to 100 degrees. That's good, pretty standard, and lets you print every material a bed-slinger is capable of. The printer runs very silent compared to every other printer I tested so far. There is also a night mode that makes it even more quiet, a feature I wish many other printers were equipped with. The version with the CFS light comes pretty much assembled. All you have to do is unscrew the transport protection and plug in the 4 PTFE tubes and the power cord. Done in less than 15 minutes and very beginner friendly. So far so good. Now let's move on to the more unique features of this printer. The CFS light can recognize Creality's RFID spools automatically. It is sealed and protects your filament from moisture, so I just store my filaments inside when I'm not printing. The filaments are fed automatically, but this system does not include a drying function. It's a more cost-effective system for multicolor printing. There's also no mechanism to rewind the spools, which made me a little skeptical at first, but I'm glad to say it never caused any problems during all of my tests. The LED status bar is another standout feature. It shows the progress of the print and it uses different colors to indicate the printer's status. So it not only looks cool, but is actually useful. There is a small touchscreen that can be folded away like this. It is easy to use and these animations on startup look fresh. The camera has 720p resolution and built-in AI recognition. This is what the live view looks like. It also works on the mobile app from where I printed several upgrade parts that I will show you later, and that solve some of the shortcomings of a Cartesian style printer, which I'll also touch on a bit in this video. But first we take a look at the SparkX i7 and what the print quality looks like on this inexpensive 3D printer. And I have to say, it's quite amazing how much print quality you get here for that price. Let's start with the torture toaster, printed in 0.2 and 0.12 mm layer heights. I used Creality Hyper PLA for that, which is automatically recognized by the CFS light. That works reliable and is convenient. And the torture toaster came out good. Toasts are moving, the gears are free, the overhangs worked fine, and the tolerance pins on the other side move freely up to 0.3 mm. The 0.2 mm pin can be freed by hand. Only 0.1 mm is stuck. Even the overhang section on the lever looks good. Printed with 0.12 mm layer height, also good. Only the overhangs don't look that great. The tolerance cylinders look all the better for it. They all move, only 0.1 mm was not free, but came loose with a bit of force. Quite a good result for a printer this cheap. Then there is this test print that I like to do, and it looks good too. I dropped it and broke this spike on the top. The overhang and bridging look good, and only the 0.2 mm cylinder is stuck a little, but can be easily freed by hand. Then I printed the test cube, again from Creality's Hyper PLA. The test cube shows really nice wall quality. Also the bridging in the middle looks good. but as you can see there is a bit of under extrusion on the top surfaces. Dimensional accuracy is a bit better on the Z axis than it is on the X and Y, but still good overall. The first layer test shows some unconnected lines, nothing too bad. The prints hold on to the print bed just fine, but it could be better with just a little adjustment in the print settings. But as always, I show you everything in the stock configurations in my videos. So the parts printed from PLA are overall good. What's about the other materials that an open printer like this can print? I loaded some of the nice bio from 3D Jake. This one is like a very tough PLA and has also a bit better heat deflection. The filament is very brittle and the parts made from that material are very stiff. It is also biodegradable, that's why the name. And just take a look at these parts. They came out great and they are strong. Outdoor stuff or things that have to survive in a hot car, you can print in PETG. And for sure this printer can do that. So I printed this filament shell from PETG and it printed without any problems, even without supports, just because of the better cooling. When I print this on an enclosed printer, I usually enable supports. On this one, I didn't need to. The link to this free model is like all the other things shown here in the description. Then TPU, and this time I chose Morflex from BQ. This is a skin-safe TPU specially made for things you can wear and touch, like shoes or grips of all kinds. But it's also just a very good overall TPU. I lost 1 feet of this camping chair and designed a replacement for it. And look how well that printed. That came out perfect. There is simply no way to print that any better. You can also easily adjust the softness of this material by changing the number of walls. The one on the left, printed with 9 walls, is really hard. The one on the right with 2 walls is squishy. And this highlights another advantage of an open 3D printer like this. Printing TPU on enclosed printers can be more difficult for several reasons, which can result in poor print quality, or with some printers may even be impossible to print at all. And I already suspected the SparkX i7 would deliver here. It's almost like a TPU cheat code. Here's a quick rundown of how I printed it. I used the top-mounted spool holder that's included for this and just put a short PTFE tube in the entry on the extruder, and that worked absolutely fine. Then I grabbed a spool of PCTG, which is kind of a PETG on steroids, and a material that in my opinion is completely underrated and that also doesn't require a more expensive enclosed Core XY printer. And because there is no dedicated filament settings to choose, I go with a slightly modified PETG profile to print this, and we will see how that turns out. On the first attempt I printed it with too much speed, and on the second try I did exactly the same but enabled the night mode. That slowed down the print speed a bit more and that did the trick. It came out perfect. And because of the very good layer adhesion of PCTG, it is also very strong, perfect for this application. Now multicolor printing. Here I used PLA from different manufacturers. No problems with that, it worked absolutely fine. I really like the look of this silver color on this model. That's a new PLA from BQ called Aura Silk, which I just discovered. Now to the part of the video in which I show you what I don't like about the SparkX i7, and in addition a few general drawbacks of this type of open 3D printer. The filament waste generated during multicolor printing, that is the waste produced by flushing the nozzle during color changes, is said to be reduced by 50%. That sounds promising, but in my test it is no other than on similar 3D printers. Just the normal amount of purge waste. By the way, the time to change from one color to another is with 90 seconds also pretty much normal. Not bad, just standard. You can also make time-lapse recordings and watch your print on the phone app, but there is not really an ideal camera position for any bed-slinger. This in general looks better on a Core XY printer, where the bed does not move. The picture looks like this and is absolutely fine though. Another disadvantage that Cartesian style printers have in general is that they take up a bit more space compared to a Core XY printer, because of the print bed that is moving back and forth. And in the case of the CFS Lite combo, you need additional space for this box too. My studio is very small, and to reduce the area needed, I printed these parts that allow the box to sit on top of the printer. It works without any problems like that, and makes the whole thing just more compact. And another thing with Cartesian style 3D printers are the cables. Not that much of a problem actually, I just don't like them swinging around, and I had 2 occasions on other bed slingers where cables moved in a way that caused problems. So I normally print a cable chain, but in this case I tried something new that I found and printed directly from the phone app. And that worked out absolutely fine and helps with my cable paranoia. I would say that the missing PCTG profile is also a negative point, but that was already added after an update. And that shows me that Creality is continuing to work on improving this printer, which is great. Conclusion. Although more than ever enclosed printers are sold today, a bed-slinger or Cartesian printer does still have its place in 2026, if it is a good one. The advantages are mainly in the strong value for money, but even with the most commonly used materials like PLA, PETG and TPU, there are no drawbacks. In fact, quite the opposite. The open design provides better cooling, and while other printers tend to be on the noisy side, the SparkX i7 is the most silent printer I tested so far. And the easily available night mode makes it even quieter, and I can print with this one all night long while I'm sleeping next door. I cannot do that with other printers. The print quality of the parts shown speaks for itself. You could spend twice as much and still end up with a lower quality result. Is it the best printer I've tested so far? Nope. But it's the most affordable. And so it's exciting to see that it's possible to get that much at this price. And also more experienced users will be satisfied with the print quality, especially with TPU, where this one really shines. I would definitely recommend this one for beginners. Not necessarily in the multicolor configuration, but in the Autofill combo for only $229. Like that, it offers a fantastic value for the price. The last 2 months of printing with the SparkX i7 was a hassle-free experience for me. So, for most people, and definitely if you just start 3D printing, this open Cartesian printer is more than just fine. It offers a lot, is convenient, has nice extras that actually make sense, and is probably one of the, if not the cheapest entry in the hobby, without cutting corners where it counts the most: print quality and ease of use. As I mentioned, you will find all the links to the printers, filaments, and all the other stuff like the print files shown in the description below, where you also find a selection of other models and tools that makes my 3D printing life more convenient. Like the silica gel I use for storing my filaments that I show in this video here. So check that out if you want to improve your 3D prints. Or you can watch this review video that may also interest you. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss the next latest and greatest in 3D printing. I wish you a good time and we see us in the next one.